He wasn't even here at the last meeting. How will we know when the camera's on?
Well, he said he just put it on. He's walking up the steps. It's on.
Yeah, but we can actually start.
Yeah, we can't. He's got to be.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to call the meeting to order. Would everyone please stand for a short prayer and a salute to our flag? Almighty God, grant us the wisdom to make those decisions that are in the best interest of all our residents. May the Heavenly Father of us all bless those who have given the ultimate sacrifice in service to our nation, and may He watch over and protect our servicemen and women now guarding the gates of freedom. Commander Streck, pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Terry, statement of publication.
Yes, Mayor, take notice that this council meeting being held on the 27th day of April 2015 has been advertised and posted in accordance with Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975.
Roll call.
Councilpersons Buchanan.
Here.
Kilpatrick.
Here.
McGill.
Here.
Melendez.
Here.
Novak.
Here.
Rittenhouse.
Here. Are there any prior minutes?
There are no minutes tonight, Mayor.
Okay, if you would read the proclamation.
Yes, Mayor. Borough of Sayreville Proclamation. Whereas the annual distribution of Buddy Poppies by the veterans of foreign wars of the United States has been officially recognized and endorsed by government leaders since 1922. And whereas VFW Buddy Poppies are assembled by disabled veterans, and the proceeds of this worthy fundraising campaign are used exclusively for the benefits of the disabled and the needy veterans and the widows and orphans of deceased veterans. And whereas the basic purpose of the annual distribution of Buddy Poppies by the veterans of foreign wars is reflected in the desire to honor the dead by helping the living. Now, therefore, I, Kennedy O'Brien, Mayor of the Borough of Sayreville, do hereby urge the citizens of this community to recognize the merits of this cause by contributing generously to its support through the purchase of Buddy Poppies on the day set aside for the distribution of these symbols of appreciation for the sacrifices of our honored dead. I urge all patriotic citizens to wear a Buddy Poppy as mute evidence of our gratitude to the men and women of this country who have risked their lives in defense of the freedoms which we continue to enjoy as American citizens. In witness whereof, I have caused this proclamation to be issued, and the official seal of the borough duly affixed this 27th day of April 2015, in the same attested by the municipal clerk.
I move that the mayor's proclamation be approved on roll call vote.
All in favor?
Is there a second, Mayor? Second. Thank you.
Okay, with that, I'm going to ask Sayreville's veterans to come forward, led by the officer in charge, Ken Kelly. Terry, do you have a microphone for Ken?
There's one out there, Ken, but here you go.
Mayor, if I may just take a moment to read a poem that's appropriate for Memorial Day.
Please do.
In Flanders fields the poppies blow, between the crosses, row on row, that mark our place, and in the sky, the larks still bravely singing fly. Scarce heard amid the guns below, we are the dead short days ago. We lived, felt dawn, saw sunset glow, loved and were loved, and now we lie in Flanders fields. Take up our quarrel with the foe, to you from failing hands we throw. The torch be yours to hold it high, if ye break faith with us who die. We shall not sleep though poppies grow in Flanders fields. Thank you.
Thank you. Would someone please close the door? It's very rude out there in the hall. Ken, the next part of the ceremony this evening?
Yes, Mayor, we'd like to initiate our poppy campaign for 2015, and we'd like the mayor and council
Please come up.
make the first contribution. Thank you.
did.
That's okay, I'll take that one, it's fine. Put it right here.
Move in. Sorry.
Honorable Mayor and Council, on behalf of the VFW and veterans within our community, thank you for allowing us to be there this evening, and thank you for your proclamation.
Thank you, Ken. You had other matters of business representing the Veterans Alliance tonight?
Yes, Mayor, if I may.
Please.
Thank you. Can we wait just 1 second, Mayor? I want
Certainly.
my buddies behind me here.
Okay.
Ed? Mayor, if I may, to start,
Please.
I'll put something else in front of the other plan program. Members of the council and Mr. Mayor, as the 9/11 committee chairman and program coordinator for the past 14 years, I hereby request that the permission be granted to hold the Borough of Sayreville 14th Annual 9/11 Memorial Service on Friday, 9/11/15, time and additional information to be determined. I also request authorization for site cleanup, flags, landscaping, shrubbery, and sometimes we need electrical repairs down there, any of that may be needed. The majority of the work is generally done by the distinguished members of our park department, so I'd like to put that up for a motion to get approval for that, Mayor. Thank you.
Is there any objection? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Next item, Ken.
Thank you. Mayor, I have two things from the Veterans Alliance I'd like to bring before the council tonight. We'd like to make a plea for the replacement of the existing memorial sign at Faith Field on Cheesequake Road. The sign has, since last fall, developed a large vertical crack, which is through and through the sign, and the American flag attached to the same is somewhat distorted. PFC Walter Chipper Faith, U.S. Army Infantry, was killed in action February 1968 in South Vietnam. He was posthumously awarded the Silver Star for gallantry in action, our nation's third highest award for valor. So I'm seeking, first question is if we can have that sign replaced, Mayor, so it would be in the proper fashion.
Are there any objections?
Thank you.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Next item.
One more, Mayor. Currently, the baseball fields at the Slover School, I believe it's under Sayreville AA. One of the fields is dedicated to Wayne Grant, Morgan resident who was also killed in action in South Vietnam while serving in the United States Army Infantry. There was for many years a square metal sign attached to the fence backstop bearing Comrade Grant's name. This sign really for a long time was not of sufficient quality to properly honor him, and I believe at this time that the sign is not even hanging from the backstop. So at this time the Veterans Alliance is requesting that a sign similar to the one we're going to put at Faith Field be okay or approved for installation at Grant Field so as to properly honor his memory and his ultimate sacrifice to our nation.
Are there any objections?
Mayor, only because that's Board of Education field, we probably have to get their permission before.
Well, there
we
are
let them-
all other kind of signs up there. Well, let's make it conditional upon
I'll take care of the Board of Ed. I just needed
Education
your
and
approval.
Michael Magano.
Very good.
Are
I'll
there
take
any
care of that.
objections?
Okay.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Mayor,
Okay.
members of the council, thank you so much for taking care of our veterans. You've been supportive for decades with us, and we can't thank you enough. Have a
Okay.
good evening.
Commander Streck, good to see you up there, young man. Okay, next order of business?
Mayor, under the next order of business, we now have the public hearing on the 2015 municipal budget. I'd like to produce notice that the 2015 budget approval and public hearing notice has been advertised in the Home News Tribune on March 13, 2015.
At this time, are there any questions or comments on the 2015 municipal budget? Are there any questions? Being no questions, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, I move the public portion be closed and the budget adopted.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call?
Councilpersons Buchanan,
Yes.
Kilpatrick,
Yes.
McGill,
Yes.
Melendez,
Yes.
Novak?
Yes.
Rittenhouse?
Yes.
Next item.
Mayor, we have the introduction of the following ordinances. Ordinance number 285-15, an ordinance amending Chapter 9, Animal Control of the Revised General Ordinances of the Borough of Sayreville.
Councilman McGill? Council President McGill?
Thank you, Mayor. Move that you introduce an ordinance. I move the ordinance be approved on first reading, advertised according to law, and a public hearing to be held on, I believe, on next
May
meeting date,
11th.
May 11th.
Second?
Roll call?
Councilpersons Buchanan?
Yes.
Kilpatrick? Yes. McGill?
Yes.
Melendez?
Yes.
Novak?
Yes.
Rittenhouse?
Yes.
Next item.
Introduction of ordinance number 286-15, an ordinance authorizing the acceptance of a traffic signal at the intersection of Main Street and Sayreville Boulevard in the Borough of Sayreville, County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey.
Councilman Buchanan?
I move the ordinance be adopted on first reading, advertised according to law, and a public hearing to be held on May 11, 2015.
Second.
Roll call?
Councilpersons Buchanan?
Yes.
Kilpatrick? Yes. McGill?
Yes.
Melendez?
Yes.
Novak?
Yes.
Rittenhouse?
Yes.
This time, I'm going to open the public portion for any questions or comments on the consent agenda. Are there any questions or comments? Being no questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion.
Mayor, before we move ahead with the motion, I'd just like to make the notation that I'd like to remove resolution number 2015-103 and have that resolution held over for the next meeting.
Is there any objection to that? Being no objection, that'll be, what's the,
May the 11th, 2015.
you're only moving it?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Go ahead, Terry, for roll call.
Who made the motion to close the public portion, Mayor?
Nobody did.
Oh, I'm sorry. Take a motion to close the public portion and approve on roll call vote.
Second.
Who moved it?
Who moved it?
I make a motion.
Okay.
Second by Councilman Buchanan.
Roll call?
Councilperson Buchanan? Yes. Kilpatrick? Yes. McGill?
Yes.
Melendez?
Yes.
Novak?
Yes.
Rittenhouse?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to go right to the public portion, and then we'll go to executive session afterwards. I'm going to open the public portion for questions or comments on any and all issues. Are there any questions or comments? If you have a question or comment, come on up.
Now,
Okay.
Good evening. My name is Jonathan Gilds. I live on 54 Kendall Drive, Parlin, New Jersey. I am 12 years old, 6th grader at Sayreville Middle School. I am here to ask you for help. On Monday, April 13th, I was practicing with my soccer team at the soccer complex on Bordentown Avenue on Field 6. As I was running, my foot got stuck in one of the many holes or ditches on the field, and I fractured my foot. I will be in a boot and crutches for 8 weeks. I cannot play soccer for 8 to 12 weeks, and I am also out of gym in school. I can't walk up steps at school. I have to have person carry my things and follow me to class in case I fall on my crutches. I am very upset that this happened to me. I am here tonight to express my concern on the conditions of the fields we all play on. I'm asking you to please make the fields better so it doesn't happen to any other child.
Okay, you're the fellow that broke his, your leg or your foot, young man? Your foot. Joe, the president of the soccer association called me. I went out there over the weekend. What was the field number?
6.
6? And then the vice president was showing me around. So what is the pleasure? Well, I would recommend to the council that they review this issue and come back with recommendations.
Mayor,
So-
may I, if it's really that safe, we should close it until we make a decision what we're going to do with it. I don't want somebody else to be coming up here. Just a thought.
What is the pleasure of the council?
Close just that field or close?
Well, if that's the bad field, yeah. We already know that's bad.
Right.
How will that impact the playing schedule for the remaining games? Do they have an alternate place to play?
No. They'll They'll have to rearrange their schedule. But if we
They
don't,
they have
and
several
somebody else
fields up
breaks
there. I
an
don't know
ankle.
how many they're using. They change.
They use all of them.
Yeah, they
Yeah, it's-
reconfigure them annually just to spread out the wear.
Has Dave Pavlik looked at the ground? Does anyone know?
Yes,
Can I speak?
sure.
Okay. My name is Mary Jo Erdak. I'm Jonathan's mother. I also live at 54 Kendall Drive. And I'm here to express my disappointment in the maintenance of those fields for the last 7 years we've been playing up there. They're awful, terrible. They're federally protected Green Acres lands, and I'm under the impression the town is responsible for maintaining those, correct? Is the town responsible?
We are
Okay.
responsible, but we have an agreement, the same as we have it with any of the other sports organizations, that they provide the manpower, we'll provide the materials.
Okay.
And they have a crew that does work on the fields, and if there's a major problem with them.
Dan, you need to speak in the mic.
I'm sorry. My understanding is that they do, each organization has a group of people that work on the fields, and if they find something major wrong with the fields, they let the Parks Division know so that they can.
We have been. We have 4 fields that are practically closed up there because they're disgusting, they're holes, they're just treacherous for the children to play on. They're letting kids play on fields like this because there's no other place for them to play. I'm under the impression you get Green Acres money for that land, and I was told that the money that's been promised to the organization has gone to football and baseball for the last 3 years. This is coming from the president, and he spoke to you about it.
No.
This is what he told me the other day on the telephone.
Good. We have had discussions about it. One of the things I recommended to the president was, like the firemen, soccer do a 5-year plan going forward because of our budgeting. Just before you got up, we passed the budget, so there would be nothing we could really do this year from a monetary point of view. But what Joe said was I needed to arrange with our CFO and our BA the process on how to financially put together a plan, a 5-year plan, which will begin the process now with the executive board of the Soccer Association. One of the issues is soccer is a very popular sport. You have about 500 kids.
600 plus kids in the spring.
Okay, but you play in 2 seasons, fall and spring.
Right, 600 in the spring, 500 in the fall.
Okay, which allows no time for the fields to regenerate. Actually, the soccer fields that Sayreville has is actually quite large in Middlesex County. We have a pretty enviable soccer complex. What we don't have is, I guess, quick-growing grass. I mean, Dan, you would know a lot more about this.
Mayor, if I may, one of the things we do have in the budget each year, we do have about 100,000, Wayne, and we'll have the Parks and Recreation Director talk about applying a portion of that money to fixing the immediate problems with those fields. But like the mayor said, we should have a plan of action for those fields on what should go on further. But there is always a certain amount of money in our budget for field upgrades. So that's something that we can have our Director of Recreation and Parks Department address those immediate needs now, and then, again, work with soccer on future plans.
Mayor, may I?
Go right ahead.
Recently, well, a couple of months ago now, I went to Carteret to take a look at their soccer fields. All but one of their soccer fields are artificial turf,
Correct.
and they paid for all of it with grants.
Right.
I have been online, and there are many grants out there, state grants, federal grants, personal grants that, different organizations have. It's one of the reasons why I really think that we should get a grant writer here. We don't have anybody that can sit, it's not so much finding them, the paperwork to file them is about this big. And it's something that I really would like the town to do, is invest in a grant writer, and that would be, because I know there's so many out there, that would be one of the first things that I would ask that they would write a grant for.
I don't know if it was fall or the spring before, the soccer president and the trainers from England that work for Challenger came here and proposed a turf plan with the council. I don't know if any of you recall it.
It's always a question of paying for something.
I understand
It's
that.
not that there's no lack of need and want, there's only a lack of money. That being said, one of the things I got from the vice president, because I mentioned it to him on Saturday, is turf something that they're thinking about because there is a drainage problem up there. They said there are pros and cons about turf. Some people like turf, some people, artificial turf. Some people like it, some people don't like it. There are, Jay, I don't know if in your files over the years you ever put together any preliminary costs on the soccer fields, first for drainage, but then in order to put down turf, artificial turf, you first would have to address the drainage problem up there.
Here in the past, the field closest to the concession area, there were plans at one point to possibly have that as a turf field. So there was some
That's the field,
preliminary
that's in
work that was
question.
done.
Do you remember the cost, Jay?
Typically, Mayor, you may be looking $700,000 to $1 million, depending on what you're doing, because I think there were lights and other things that they wanted, bleachers, other things that they wanted to have done there as well.
Right.
Jay, Mayor, if I may, Jay, would we be able to go through the county on that shared program?
That's a possibility.
The county has a
might
shared
fund-
program where
they
you
had
do
a match-
50/50?
A match program, correct, yes.
The other thing with grants are never 100%. I mean, many times they're 50% or less. So to do all the fields on the soccer complex could be $6 to $10 million. No, you don't have 10 fields. Take $6 million. So perhaps, on a good day, you could get $3 million in grants. We would then need to find $3 million in the budget or new taxes to pay for the other half of it. And that's always the dilemma. Where are we going to get the money, and what do the people of Sayreville want to put their money into?
It's a large program, that's all I can say, and there's a lot of kids that do it.
No, it's a great program.
It's
I
got the
think
most
it's a
kids that play any
terrific
sport in
program.
this town, and
Yeah.
it's the least funded, it's the least cared about. It truly is. As a parent that's been doing this for 7 years, it is the least. The fields, compared to football and baseball in this town, zero. We get nothing. And I've spoke to Joe, and he told me he gets no money from anybody in this town, zero. And whether that's the truth or he's lying to me to shut me up,
I don't think
I'm not
anybody-
going away.
Remember,
My son is injured, and he could be permanently injured from this.
I heard it was his growth plate.
Correct.
I'm very sorry about that.
He could be permanently damaged from this.
And we're not making light of it. It's just a money issue, a money question. But we give money to every recreation department, but every youth sport requires involvement, a lot of sweat equity by the parents.
Is that money public record? Because I'll look it up. Because he told me he's gotten no money from the
Wayne?
town for anything.
Let's find out.
To my understanding, we reimburse the organizations for officials, just about every organization for officials, just on that alone, for the officials. I believe some equipment is always provided for the different organizations. Of course, there's the lighting for the fields. They were one of the first fields, I believe, to be lit in the borough, was the soccer fields when the soccer complex was first constructed. I think Jay could attest to that. So it's,
Isn't the fee for lighting donated, though?
what's that?
Isn't the fee for lighting donated? The money, they don't charge you to pay for it, it's donated by the electric company?
No. The taxpayers are paying for the lighting for the thing. It's not, you don't get anything donated from the power company.
What's the entire budget for all the youth sports, Wayne? What do we allocate?
It's
I believe
approximately,
it's $60,000.
How much?
I think it's somewhere
No.
in $50,000, $60,000 for all the
No, no.
organizations
for all the
combined.
organizations, yeah.
And I believe it's divvied up based on the number. I'll find out. I'm the recreation liaison, so you can call
But
me.
that's direct payments to the organizations, okay? That doesn't count the infrastructure cost or the cost behind the scenes.
The $60,000 is the money
I haven't-
that's actually
Cutting the
paid out.
grass, that kind of stuff.
I think what you're also saying is that you're looking for that maintenance or the money to go directly to the field itself. That money may go to the organization, not directly to the field itself.
Right, goes for
Other-
umpires,
right,
certain
other
amount of
things, okay,
soccer
so money
balls,
is
your
given to-
nets.
Right. But
And
just
then in a different line item in the budget, whatever we bring up there for lining the fields or bringing
We line
dirt
the
up
fields.
and different things like that.
But the field condition, Jay, the drainage issue, is that the reason that, I mean, I haven't looked at it, but,
It's mostly because.
I would
or is it
think the
because we're not
compact-
maintaining
It
it?
has nothing to do with drainage. It has to do with just the
Maintenance.
field. There's no grass.
Right.
Chunks of dirt come out of the field. There's holes this big in the field they're letting kids play on, and then this happens.
Mayor, if I may, maybe we could expedite this a bit if Mr. Cornell were to go out there and take a look at it himself. And we get a first-hand look from an engineer as to what needs to be done. Thank you.
Are there other questions, governing body? Other comments? Ricky?
You could get my information from Terry and email me.
Okay, thank you.
Young fella, we hope that you heal well. We're sorry that it happened. Are there any other questions or comments in the open public portion? Being no other questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion.
Move the public portion be closed.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Take a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Is there a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Let's reopen. All right. I don't know about the AA, but I do know about the Little League. That is maintained by the parents.
They do everything.
But what I was told was by the vice president of soccer. Parents dropped the kids off.
They don't do anything.
This is what the vice president
We
told me.
actually gave them a lining machine,
I know.
and they were supposed to line.
Listen, it's a great sport.
But you're right, because the girls were in that.
It's a great sport. My grandkids play. They have so much use. There's probably. Hey, Jay, can you check the compaction out there? My guess with both spring and fall play, it's probably compacted pretty good.
Mayor, that's been a continuous problem. Just
Yeah,
never
I
used
know
it.
they just aerated one of the fields prior to the season's beginning. Okay, with that, we're going to open the agenda meeting. Would everyone stand for a salute to our flag, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Terry, statement of publication?
Mayor, this agenda meeting of the Mayor and Borough Council being held on the 27th day of April 2015 has been advertised and posted in accordance with Open Public Meetings Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975.
Roll call?
Councilpersons Buchanan.
Here.
Kilpatrick. McGill. Melendez. Novak.
Here.
Rittenhouse.
Here.
All business?
Mayor, these are the two ordinances
Right.
that were just introduced at the last meeting,
Okay.
and we were going to have the public hearing on May 11th.
All right, anything for new business?
No, sir.
Okay. Committee reports, Administration of Finance, Councilwoman Novak.
Yes, I'd like motion to receive and file the minutes as listed on the agenda, 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Any objection? Next item?
Okay,
Second.
Okay.
received bingo and raffle licenses from St. Stan's to conduct a off-premises raffle on June 27th on the school property, and also St. Stan's to conduct an on-premise 50/50 for their carnival.
Okay, any objection? Next item?
Okay, I'd like the council to have a resolution to support General Assembly Bill A4235, known as the Transparency Tax Act of 2015.
Any objection? Is there a second?
Second.
Next item.
Okay, notice received from New Jersey Transit of a public hearing regarding the proposed fare increases.
Any information on where, when, and what time?
Mayor, that was all included in the packet. It's also on the bulletin board and will be on the web.
Okay, good. Anything else, Councilwoman?
No, I'd just like to thank everybody again on the Finance Committee and Wayne and the BA and all the appropriate managers of the department heads for working very hard on the budget. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Planning and Zoning, Councilman Buchanan.
Thank you, Mayor. I move the following minutes and reports be received and filed. Construction official, zoning and code enforcement, and fire prevention reports for the month of March 2015. Board of Adjustment minutes of March 25th, 2015, and the Middlesex County Planning Board minutes of March 10th, 2015.
Is there a second?
Second.
Next item.
Letter B, request received from Highview Homes for release of cash bond. We're going to refer that to the engineer.
Anything else, Councilman?
Just real quickly, we spoke a few weeks ago, and we had the Main Street Bypass Committee up here, and my understanding, they had a recent meeting. I asked Jay for a report of that.
At the bypass meeting, they basically summarized the discussions before the mayor and council. There was discussion about the traffic signal at the intersection of Main Street and Kimball Drive East. There, and I'll review this with Mr. Frankel, they want to request the county look into approving the installation of that traffic signal, so it goes concurrently with the project. The borough has also received the freehold soil conservation permit, so the only two permits outstanding now are MCUA and the Army Corps of Engineers.
What would be the next step for that committee? What else are they doing for this bypass?
But I'm sorry, Councilman Rittenhouse reminded me also the extension of Baymhurst Avenue to bypass. That was discussed at the council meeting and referred to the police department. I believe the police had issued a report indicating they recommend that it be opened on an emergency basis. So that's something that's going to be further reviewed with Public Works. As far as the committee going forward, there was discussion at the meeting about the second phase of the project from Kimball East to Crosman Road, and we talked about layouts and planning for that. So I think it's just coordination on the next phase of the project. And they're also talking about having the O'Neill representatives make a presentation as to how the national lead development is going to connect to the bypass.
Is this, do we have this already in our planning, in the master
In
plan?
the master plan.
The master plan does show the roadway extending out to the national lead property, yes.
So any changes, it would have to go through the planning board for?
Well, the planning board is just conceptual. I think the committee, from an engineering standpoint, we've been working on the design of the roadway and just presenting it to the committee. So other than getting general input from area residents on behalf of the committee, I think that's how they're assisting with the project.
Jay, if you don't mind, two questions. When is this section 1, when is that shovel ready?
We have the two permits that we have to obtain, the
Yeah.
Army Corps of Engineers, which unfortunately I can't give you a date. It's already
Yeah.
been at the Army Corps level for a year since we received the DEP permit. So I don't know what the time frame is to receive that permit. And then also there's going to be some wetland mitigation that we have to go through and take care of. So
Well, in your opinion, are we far enough along in this now that this could be turned over to planning to handle?
I'm not sure what you mean by planning. The
The
planning board
planning
really...
board to handle this from this point on?
Well, really, it wouldn't be a planning board issue at this point. It would be the mayor and council's, once the permits are obtained, it'll be up
Yeah.
to the council to proceed with the bidding of the project.
All right, is this, I feel like we're in a morass here. Are we moving forward or not?
Well, it is moving forward, yes. At the last meeting, you authorized the second phase
Yeah.
to move forward, so in that sense, it's moving forward as well. The first phase is moving forward with the outside agencies on the permits. The second phase is now moving forward with design.
Yeah, if you can, keep us advised on permits then.
Sure.
I'd appreciate
Yes.
that. Thank you.
Now, just to give, again, go back to the history of it, about 7, 8 years ago, the council at that time decided to move forward with the Main Street bypass through funding from the state. And then somewhere in there, the Main Street Bypass Committee came about and made recommendations. I thought that was just for that first section, and I don't feel that there's really, I mean, we're spending money on meetings, and it's stuff that this council and the planning board, well, the planning board has done already, and the council can do. So I just find that we're just spending money to spend money at this point.
What are we spending money on?
Meetings,
How? What money?
we have professionals that go to the meetings?
Yeah,
Do we pay them?
yes.
Right. So I mean,
Well, we have an engineer that goes to to that meeting, then to the planning board meeting.
right, so he's, I mean,
And
I mean,
are you
Jay's
saying
doing a
you
great
don't, are
work.
you
Just
saying
ask-
you don't want the input from the public? That's what you're saying?
Not at all.
That's
Absolutely not.
the only purpose of that committee?
Absolutely not, because when we originally had the Main Street bypass meeting, it was an open public meeting out here, and there was comments from the residents. And there was public comment when the master plan was put into place as well. So we always
Yes.
accept public comment. It's just a matter of, at this point, I mean, we have meeting after meeting after meeting, and I feel that just being held up for 8 years now, and, you know.
The
it's
advisory
just a game
committee
that
is not
happens.
holding it up in any way, shape, or form. They're solely just giving input to the council on, that's all they're doing. They're not,
Once.
it's up to us.
We
Once
just had
they've
that
given,
one,
once they've given input in 8 years. They came up a few weeks ago, that was it.
No, they've given input before, when Karen Surratt was the chair.
not in my 2.5 years here.
I don't ever recall her coming up and saying anything about it.
And I understand the best intentions here, I really do.
They're,
You know, my understanding was that they were going, originally was to discuss where the cut-throughs would happen. That was done. We're moving forward with that. We're going on to the next section. You know, we need to move forward. I mean, the meeting after meeting, and I think it's just a waste of time. We have a master plan. This council is looking forward and trying to get this done, and I just feel that, we can invite people up and have all the communication we want.
if they hadn't made that presentation, this council wouldn't have voted to go to phase 2.
Absolutely
Oh,
not.
that's not true.
That is not
No,
true.
it's not
There's
true.
3 phases to this project.
Right, but the only one that was in operation is phase 1.
Well, you can't do
Right.
phase 2 before phase 1. We were going right in phases. That's how the plan went. We've finally got to this point after, Mr. Kaiserman years ago put a monkey wrench into this whole thing. And now we're sitting here many years later and roads being blocked up for hours because somebody put a fire and screamed fire in their neighborhoods, and all of a sudden we have to have a committee on it. Enough. We have the council, we have the planning board, we have public input. Let's move
And
forward.
we have the master plan.
What is the pleasure of the governing body?
Mayor, I would suggest that we thank the bypass committee for their work and dismiss them.
I'll second that.
Is that the consensus of, make a motion, Council President, and we'll
I'll make
vote
that
on it?
motion,
What is the motion?
that we, again, at this point, thank the committee and tell them that the council is moving forward.
Moving forward in what way, Dan?
The Main Street bypass, get it done.
What are you gonna do?
If I could answer that, we will look forward to getting information and the opinion of the public coming to a council meeting. Be glad to listen to them.
Yeah, but I'm asking you, what are you asking for in the motion?
I make a motion that we cease the operation of the Main Street bypass committee at this point.
Well, you really can't, because it's a mayor's board, it's a mayor's advisory board. So,
So you choose not
so
to do that?
the motion you can make is, they are strictly an advisory board, you can vote to do whatever you want. If you want to vote to begin the construction, then you can vote to begin the construction.
We can't con-
This,
we can't
no,
do
they
construction
they
because
have no power at all. They're strictly made up of the residents affected by the bypass, and they were created to advise on how, to control some of their destiny. That was the whole onus on the creation of that board.
Right,
They
and
were
and this count-
advisor, they were people who lived in the area most affected by the construction of the road. And I created it so that those most affected could have input into, in some cases, they live in the back of Main Street townhomes. It's kind of wooded, and that would be changed. So they were very concerned about it, so I created an advisory board. They're a board without power. They're strictly advisory. So you can make a motion to just go ahead and build it if you want.
They are a board without power, but they are a board with a budget, I believe.
No, we just pay the
no,
engineer. We
no,
voted
it's-
to pay the
I think we've
professionals a
had
number of years
I think
ago.
we've had a good time, and a great time learning about the bypass, but to the tune of, I've heard different numbers thrown around, $2 million here, if I'm
That was the
correct.
Borough Council spent that, not the advisory committee. Dave, I don't understand that. You don't
I
don't
don't think we
understand
spent-
Here
that.
we go, we're going from, the council did that, but it's the mayor's board.
No,
It's
no,
the
all
mayor's
they're
advisory.
doing, they're just advisory.
Trust me,
That's
I
it.
haven't spent a dime.
Yes, you have.
May I ask something? Was this open space committee created by ordinance?
No, the mayor made an appointment.
No,
Mayor's advisory.
no,
Mayor Advisory Board, so there's no ordinance.
Right.
It was done by resolution? It had to
No,
be voted upon?
I did
No?
it.
There's no resolution, it was never voted upon?
I'd have to check and see.
no.
I don't believe
It was
there's
strictly an
ordinance.
advisory board to me.
I don't think the Main Street I do not believe the Main Street Advisory Board was created by ordinance and/or resolution.
Okay, well, I think what I'm hearing is that we're spending money on the engineer to go to these meetings, and, maybe we should just take a vote not to authorize the engineer to go anymore and let them meet if they want to meet. If they've got questions, they can come to the public meeting and ask the engineer.
I think that's a great idea.
You understand these are the area residents.
No, I understand that,
Okay,
Mayor. It's
just as
just-
long
And
as everybody...
these are the area residents, and
Just as long as everybody understands it before they vote.
they have gotten input into the first
Okay.
phase. We're gonna go on to the second phase now, and they'll have input when we talk about the second phase up here. They don't have to have a special meeting on it, or a special committee for it. They can come up here and discuss it.
Now, the $2 million has been spent on planning and permit application and reapplication. It has not been spent on sending the borough engineer
Oh, I understand that.
to
I never
these
said that.
meetings. On top of the borough engineer, they've had the representatives of O'Neill Properties there and a number of people from the DEP and other state agencies. So they've been very, very thorough over the years. Again, it's very important to them. It's where they live, and it will certainly be a change if it's built on the way they live. So, what is the motion that you wish to make, Councilman?
When they came in here, I thought they gave a very nice presentation, and they wanted to go ahead with Phase 2 and go ahead with Phase 1, start going for Phase 2. Everybody knows where Phase 3 is going to be, and they were all for doing, I got the idea they were all for doing everything, and simultaneously opening Bainhurst, applying for the light. I think they pretty much have said, go ahead with all of your plans. That's what
I
I
don't
got.
know. Arthur, do you
Well,
have a
they can't
final
Yeah,
recommendation?
That's exactly what they said.
right.
Okay.
But also looking at the safety concerns that are involved, too. For example, if Phase 2 doesn't go through because of environmental issues, all of the traffic's going to come out on Kimball Drive East, which is then going to jeopardize school children because the Board of Education moved all of the bus stops off of Main Street onto Kimball Drive East. Therefore, you're going to have cars and trucks because the Planning Board and the Police Department recommended trucks go on the bypass. So you're going to have trucks, buses, and cars coming out on Kimball Drive East. And if we open up the other streets, those streets, Quaid, Baumhurst, coming through. What their concern that they issued were that if Phase 2 goes through, then that traffic would be going down to Crossman, and you could restrict it, which our ordinances do already, that traffic coming on those local streets. Yes, they were in favor of the entire thing, and there were people on that committee who were opposed to it in the beginning, but now understand the need for it, and that's what they emphasized, and that's why they made their presentation. But all they are is a voice to say that if Phase 2, for example, doesn't go through, there are a lot of safety concerns that those residents have.
And they can express them, and we have a traffic safety officer who addresses that on a daily basis. That's his job, is traffic safety. And if he finds that there's an issue, which has...
You
that
understand that
organization has
phase-
brought to light, then they can discuss it.
Councilman, you understand if Phase 2 doesn't go through, essentially you're starting at River Road and going to Kendall Drive.
Right,
That's
and they'll
the
have that-
whole
all the-
bypass.
those Where they have decided to have cut-throughs, the residents...
No, you understand if Phase 2 doesn't go through, it's not really a bypass, it's just a loop road.
Which also gives residents
You-
an access point out the back of their area.
Okay.
Which they don't have now.
Can I
To
ask,
Kimball Drive East,
again, how
or
long,
to
Out the
Sayreville
Sayreville
Boulevard.
Boulevard.
Either way.
how long has the bypass committee been in effect?
Since the beginning.
Yeah, I have no idea before me.
It was
Before-
after,
Since John Wisniewski first brought the $10 million to Sayreville from Trenton.
2008,
2008.
and we approved it in 2006 or 7.
Well, there's been delays due to permit processing.
Well, originally it was delayed because of a overambitious candidate.
Yeah, reaching a bridge too far, yeah.
So what is the motion? Is there a motion?
I would suggest that there is no reason for the borough engineer there. I would dismiss the bypass committee and thank them very much for their work and allow the public to come here to voice their opinions.
Okay, Arthur, if you would have them come at the next meeting so that they can be thanked individually, and we'll go from there. Vote on what?
Read the motion.
It was not, it was, what is the motion? I'm still, what is the motion, Dave?
Okay. My motion is that we dismiss the bypass committee, thank them for their work. They've done diligent work. It's been going on since '07 or '08, and I think it's time to move it to the planning board and the
It
council.
doesn't go to the planning
Oh,
board,
wait
it
a minute.
goes to the
planning
governing
board
body.
And the council, and we find a way to get a shovel in the ground as soon as possible. And I might add, because anyone who's driven down Washington and Main Street during those hours of the day knows it's not getting any better.
Well, I'm just asking if
Well,
you
everyone wants to
understand.
build a better mousetrap, but as of
Understand-
right now, no one is
Well,
building
let me
anything.
finish. Have you concluded?
Thank you.
And I'll second it.
All right, under comments, I just want to make sure everybody understands that if Phase 2 doesn't go through, what we're doing is spending $10 million on a big loop from Sayreville Boulevard, River Road, to Kendall Drive and the Main Street townhomes. It does not really do a whole lot for the traffic, but it's a loop. So, a motion made and seconded. Are there other
I have a
comments?
Yes. Also, when that goes there, if it's shovel-ready and it goes, when it comes out of Kimball Drive East and the development doesn't occur across the street, you're going to have people turn on Sayreville Boulevard or River Road, go to Kimball Drive East, at a stop sign where already 5 to 10 cars sit, or the Borough Council will pay the full price for the traffic light that's supposed to go there. If Mako builds, then they would pay for it, but if this gets done first, we will pay for that. So it's another additional cost to the taxpayers.
We're looking at 8 years since we began this.
I'm surprised the state
This
has
is
not
not the
started knocking on our
pyramids.
door asking for the money back already.
So, motion made and seconded. Are there any other comments? Roll call.
Mayor? if you don't
Even
mind-
though, even though action isn't supposed to be taken during the agenda, we like to break the rule. But roll call nonetheless.
I do have a question.
Go ahead.
I just want to clarify this motion, if I may. The motion made by Councilman McGill was to dismiss the bypass committee, thank them for their, for all of their work, and move that the project move before the council and planning board. Did I get that correctly?
Yes, except the council can't dismiss the bypass committee. Only I can dismiss it, but
That was what was said. Is that
right.
not what I heard, Mayor?
he can say what he wants to say.
Thank you.
Roll call.
may I make a comment? As much as I don't think that the bycast committee is probably that necessary anymore, I do agree this is the agenda meeting, and the motion should be to put it on the consent agenda for the next meeting, not to take a vote on it now. Sorry.
Well, a motion has been made, a motion is seconded. The person making the motion can amend it, and the person who seconded would have to re-second it. If I
I will amend that for the next meeting.
Who seconded?
I will.
And-
What is it? I just want to be clear. What is it I'm
I'll-
putting on?
I'll make it clear. I'll make it clear. What the motion is to disband the mayor's committee and also to allow the matter to be brought before the mayor and council and planning board. The resolution will be on for the next agenda, which is May 11th. That motion was amended by Dave and also seconded by Dan.
Now, the other part was that the council would no longer pay the bill for the engineer to attend the meetings. Am I correct or not correct?
No,
with
that's
that?
correct.
That's correct.
So we will have a resolution on for the next meeting.
So, do we need to vote on this?
No, it's just moving to the consent
Okay.
agenda.
All right, that being said, is there any other thing, Councilman Buchanan, anything else?
Progress.
Okay, Councilwoman Kilpatrick.
All right, I move the following minutes and reports be received and filed. Number one, the red leveling board minutes of April 14, 2015. Number two, the Public Works Supervisor's report for the month of March 2015.
Second. We need to go back to Danny.
Okay.
Go ahead.
If I could interrupt you, Dan, you didn't do the Highway Homes cash bond?
Yes, I did.
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
Well, all right, we're not paying attention in the middle of the dais here.
You're not listening?
Go ahead, Councilwoman.
It's our fault.
Okay, so that would be moving to B. Request from the B&W Construction Company for the refund of road opening permit fee in the amount of $288, covering permit number 5249 issued on June 13, 2013, upon approval of properly verified borough voucher.
Any objections? Next item?
And C, a notice of public hearing received from the County Division of Solid Waste Management for an amendment to the Solid Waste Management Plan scheduled for May 6, 2015 at 5 p.m. County Administration Building. The purpose is to delete a facility no longer in operation.
Anything else, Councilwoman?
Just something, two happy things here. We had our first community cleanup day this past Saturday at Buchanan Park, where we had quite a number of, I think it was at least 55 people that came out, between Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, the Shade Tree Commission, and the Recycling Commissions, where all individuals, moms and dads and volunteers took the time with gloves and garbage bags to pick up all of the litter that had accumulated near the park and by the water. And a job that was very well done, and just once again shows the effort of individuals wanting to make a difference in Sayreville and make that area look a little neater and greener and nicer. And it was for the Parks Division and for our garage service supervisor. We are down 2 employees here, unfortunately, that are hurt, and I just am hopeful that they will get on the mend quickly, and in the meantime, that we really take the time to look at how we can replace these bodies and make sure that the work in town is able to get done. So we need to have a discussion about how we are going to handle that workforce issue and how we're going to find a way to pick up the slack for the work that needs to still get done. These are instrumental men here, so we do have a problem within Public Works.
Anything else?
No, Sayreville AA opening day was also a great success, so it was great to see all the kids out there, and I know that Art Rittenhouse was able to attend along with Mary and with Dave McGill and Mr. Melendez there, so it was an excellent day. The kids had a great time, and it's that season, play ball.
Okay, Recreation, Councilman Melendez.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple items here. I'm going to read my notes here for the Recreation Department. And I will add that opening day was a great success. It was great weather. Hell of a swing, Arthur, you got there. So that was an excellent time. And yeah, let's play ball. A couple of things from Mr. Ust. We continue to promote SayrevilleRec.com. The fishing derby is Saturday, May 16th. Registration is at 8:30 a.m. The derby is from 9 to 10:30. Rain or shine, free to all Sayreville residents. Bring your own poles and bait. This year's community flea market is it's Saturday, June 6th from 8 to 1 p.m. All spaces are first come, first served basis. $15 for residents, $25 for non-residents, and you can register at sayreville.com. Yankee bus trips are pretty much sold out. There's a couple tickets left for June 19th, 8 tickets for the 17th, and the 21st August game is sold out. Summer movies in the park is scheduled for June 13th, 9:15, Guardian of the Galaxies. July 11th will be 9:15, Blended, the movie Blended. August 29th at 8 o'clock will be Monster University. He just puts a note here about SayrevilleRec.com is continuing to grow. It's up to 630 members, and they've collected over $30,000 in online application fees for our programs. So that's great. Just from the library, there was a leadership breakfast I actually attended with Mr. McGill. It was pretty cool with the all the area libraries, and it was actually chaired by Susan Kaplan, our director, and she ran the meeting, and it was a great success. We got to meet all the local libraries, and I've been working with her to try to understand some of the pain that the library has gone through over these years, and with budget cuts, etc. So one thing she did ask me to do is speak about things that do happen at the library. For example, there is an Italian-American festival at the Senior Center that she wants to talk about, which will be on Saturday, May 16th at 1 p.m. Meet Your Neighbors, Celebrate Italian-American Heritage, Part 6 in our Diversity Series, sponsored by Middlesex County Cultural and Heritage Commission. Music by Sayreville's own Patsy Palmer. The other thing I'd like to, the Sayreville Stars, which is the recreation cheer program, they just finished their very successful season in which they did very well this past weekend, and I'd like to bring them in to honor them for their work. Terry, if you could set that up, please. They were just in Baltimore this weekend, representing Sayreville, so it was pretty exciting. So if you could do that for me, that'd be great. And I will quickly switch over to IT. Tonight we approved what is called the WISCA program, which will allow us to actually officially bring in the state contractor to start working on the camera situation at the police headquarters. So that's pretty exciting. One thing that's going to happen is at the senior center tomorrow at 1 o'clock, the integrator actually will be there to do a site survey to figure out how we're going to link up the senior center to the police department with the new camera system. So we approved tonight. They hit the ground running tomorrow. The other thing to add is we started doing a survey with the radio system for the town. The company that we approved prior was called VCOM, and they've actually been going around and building a report to figure out what rough areas they're going to need better communication. So that'll be part of that package that's going to happen. The next thing that's happening in IT is we're working on upgrading the video system. That's that little button that Wayne presses every day to record the actual meetings on TV. It's not on the maintenance, it's due to break any day. So this is one of the top priority items that we're working on, so we can keep Sayreville TV on the air. And we are also working on, like I said, Terry, to work on the audio visual system here and the TV camera for so my expectation is that that'll be up and running by this summer. You went from 7 to number 3 on my list.
Anything else, Councilman?
That'll be all progress. Thank you.
Thank you. Water and Sewer, Councilman Rittenhouse.
Thank you, Mayor. No reports on that. Just one quick question. In Tinton Falls, where we send our animals to animal control, I was just wondering from either Councilman McGill or from Mr. Frankel if they had received any report when they let all their volunteers go because they had problems at that facility. And
Did we receive a report?
Did we?
Yes, we did.
Could you elaborate?
They corrected a problem they had with a couple of the volunteers by the way they process. They let those volunteers go. They put in new systems. They did it expeditiously, and according to what I've been in contact with them, they're very confident of the new volunteers to move forward and to work with the program that they've outlined for them for anything to do from walking a dog, feeding a dog. They've all been retrained, and they basically got rid of the bad apples.
Thank you. Just one thing, I'll wear my other hat as president of the Historical Society. May 9th, the State History Fair is going to be held at Monmouth Battleground. And any seniors, the seniors again will be providing a bus. It's limited space. They can contact Jeannie Monty at the Senior Center. It's an all-day affair, rain or shine. Starts at 11 in the morning, goes till 4 in the afternoon. If anybody has a chance, there's over 180 exhibitors, 800 people participating in it, and it's a great event. Other than that, progress.
Thank you. Council President McGill, Public Safety.
Thank you, Mayor. Will the following minutes and reports be received and filed? Number one, the Court Administrator's Report for the month of March 2015. Number two, the Board of Health County and Registrar's Report for the month of March 2015.
Is there a second?
Second.
Next item.
Request for coin toss at the intersection of Washington and Ernston Roads from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Received from number one, the Sayreville Bombers Golf Team on June 14, 2015.
Any objections? Next item.
Next item, request for approval on the following firefighter applications. Morgan Hose and Chemical Company, number one, Ryan Braun, as a full member applicant, was accepted at their January 2015 meeting.
Any objection? Next item.
Just a couple of comments, and I'll go as fast as I can. This is a letter from Mr. Scully, who some of us know, over on Kearney Road. He had issues with the drainage and with the waste pipes. I went over, I took a look. I've had Public Works over there taking a look at it. They're going to take care of his drainage problem. He's got continual flooding. He shot me a list of a lot of things here, but some of whom I'm going to have to talk to with the chief. It regards traffic. He brings up Andruski Drive, which I took a look at and I talked to Jay about, and yeah, I'd love to mill it and repave it. I just don't, right now I think the only thing we can do is cold patch, but I look forward to doing better in the future. As the mayor says, everything costs money. On that, some good things. Kevin Syak was recently elected Secretary-Treasurer of the National School Board Association. Syak, who was first elected to the Sayreville Board of Education at age 19, which is pretty impressive, has now been a member for 21 years, and I'd like to give some recognition to Kevin on that for being so involved in the Board of Ed with proclamation at some point. Okay.
Anything else?
Yes. On the, I was at the autism awareness. My family's very active in autism over at Arlett School. I was very proud of the way the parents and children took care of the school grounds. It was fun. There were craft shows for everyone, some very good food, and that was all thanks to the Board of Ed, so I thank them. Another thing is, and I'll address this with the chief at another time. I don't have an answer for this. I go to the Raritan, the credit union, and the park and ride is right there, and it is never full. And yet we have cars parked on side streets. If we were to fill that lot up, that would be a gain of $75,000 a year to us. And we just can't seem to get cars into that lot. We can get them on the streets, but we can't seem to get them into that park and ride. So I would like to take a look at that and see if we can do something about that to fill those spots up again, because it's a waste of public space. It could be making us some money that we desperately need. Again, as the mayor says, we are in desperate times here with money. You know, we're an old borough with young people coming in, and we've got an infrastructure that we really have to stay on top of. That said, the good news, my kind of news. The Sayreville Police Department made a fantastic arrest the other night, and the reason it was so good was not just the arrest, but the police work that was done by two officers who were aware of we've had a burglary problem with a black pickup truck in Old Bridge in Sayreville. 5 o'clock in the morning, they saw the truck. There were different actions they took that a police officer would know to do, and they did them spot on. And sure enough, there were 2 collars or 2 arrests made in that. That's excellent. My kudos to the PD. On another regarding police, the county freeholders honored Patrolman Shaw McGrath, Chris Engelhart, Jeff Taylor, and dispatcher Mark Hurley for their rescue of that young child 6 to 8 weeks ago. And they were honored with a plaque by the freeholders. We're all very proud of them. I just wanted to bring that up. I know that's a long one, but oh, and one other thing, opening day for both Little Leagues was fantastic. As Arthur says, it's all about the kids. Thank you. Progress.
Okay.
If you don't mind, this is something that's near and dear to my heart. That was really, that saving of that little boy's life was wonderful, and there were a lot of EMS personnel that were there that attended to that child too, and I'd like to give them some recognition. They're out there every single day for absolutely nothing. Some of them put in 24 hours a week, and they go through a lot of training, and I'd like to thank the EMS also.
Kevin, if you'd pass that along to the squads. Okay, for myself, Sayreville lost 2 people this week. Edwin Birch, a gentleman, came here from Brooklyn, but a good old-fashioned kind of guy, a lot of character, a lot of integrity. And Sayreville lost one of its own, Joe Hogan, one of our police officers, after a long, long battle with illness, surrounded by his loving family. If I could ask everyone for a moment of silence for both Edwin Burke and for Joe Hogan. Thank you, everyone. Mr. Birch and Joe Hogan, appreciate it. With that said, we never did take action on closing soccer field number 6. What is the pleasure of the governing body? How is this going to be addressed? Do you?
Actually, Councilman McGill asked for the engineer to go up there and take an evaluation of it right away.
Well, we have 2
Make a
things.
recommendation.
One, we have someone who said there's a clear and present danger there. So, Counselor, what is your advice?
I just have a question. Maybe you could answer, Ricky. Are there any soccer games between, I mean, if Jay, can you go out
It's
there
the soccer season.
tomorrow, and if you think it's something, just notify?
And I think we'll have Jerry Austin first thing in the morning, too.
And if it's
We have to make a
something that
decision.
we can't remedy before the next soccer game, then, but he would have a better idea than me.
I don't think we-
Counselor, your advice?
You know, and I think that we send out our, Jay, our borough engineer, together with our Parks and Rec, and make an immediate evaluation. And then if in fact there is a safety hazard or certainly a dangerous condition that exists, I'll rely on Jay's opinion as to the dangerous condition. And then if it is a dangerous condition, then the soccer field should be closed.
And Jerry has the power to do that, so he can make that decision tomorrow.
Okay. With that, we'll go to the Business Administrator's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Notice of retirement received from Judy Smith from her position in the Borough Clerk's Office effective July 1st, 2015, and authorization to post and/or advertise for a replacement.
Next item.
Authorization to accept the safety management program as required by the Central Jersey Joint Insurance Fund incentive.
Next item.
Request received from AT&T to install fiber optic cable on existing poles and conduits located in the public right-of-way in the Borough of Sayreville. I'd like to refer this to the Borough Attorney.
Actually, Jay met with the AT&T people before the meeting.
Yes.
Jay, if you want to give a
Mayor,
brief
they're
report.
proposing aerial lines in the vicinity of the Ernston Road water tank near Route 9 and Ernston Road.
Okay.
Didn't see any problems with that. It's only aerial, so I would recommend that the resolution be forwarded to Mr. Dupont for preparation, and I can assist him with that.
Yeah, and I have the card from the attorney, so the attorney is also going to give me a call tomorrow regarding that.
Do we get paid for this?
No.
No.
Can we ask them to pay us for this?
They're using existing Verizon poles, so I don't know that the borough...
Can we ask them? Fishing is free. Catching costs.
We can fish, Mayor. I'm not quite
Okay.
sure if we're
Well,
catching
fish a
anything.
little bit.
No, they're their poles, their poles, yeah.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Dan, go
It's
ahead.
okay. Authorization to amend the salary guide ordinance to reflect changes in accordance with the Department of Personnel Title Consolidation, review and approval received from the ASME leadership. No problem.
I don't know the details of this.
It's in your packet. What happened was is that there's new civil service titles
Yeah.
that do not match up with our titles, and this has been going on for years. And this was a cleanup of titles.
Is there any change in income?
There is a little bit of change to the positive that will probably affect 12 people totaling a few $1,000s. That's all it is.
Wayne?
Yeah, there's no problem absorbing it in the budget.
What about from the union? Is this going to
The
create any
union's
issues?
approved it. We went to ASME leadership and they
Okay.
approved it.
Are there any questions or comments on this action? Okay, next item.
Authorization to appoint a full-time public safety telecommunicator to replace Angela Moat.
Any objection? Next item.
Authorization to adopt a sports-related concussion protocol.
Any objection?
And, okay, good, you go first.
I just, I sat down and I read it, and I really think that this should, maybe the JIF could go and talk to our, or at least bring, the rec department, the Recreation Advisory Board in to see, what this is going to entail, how much money it's going to cost, if anything. I'd like, before we just approve it.
I think I'd like the authorization. There was something that they drafted up, is that maybe we should just include our rec and rec boards, but give us the authorization to go ahead and bring the protocol to the council, if that's okay.
Is there any objection? Next item.
Authorization for the borough's continued participation in the 1033 program, which allows for the acquisition of specific military equipment to be utilized for specific functions within the department.
Next item.
Authorization to appoint Dusty Kimball to the title of maintenance repairer in the Department of Public Works, effective April 28, 2015.
Next item.
Mayor, I have two things for closed sessions. One is a tax appeal, and one is discussion about retired PVA members.
Okay, anything else?
Mayor, I just wanted to tag on a little bit what was said today is, and I guess Mary brought it up about this grant writer. I would like if that's the committee administration to talk to someone, and I think there should be maybe some presentations to the council, to the mayor and council, and just what a grant writer, what it means, what it costs. I understand what, but just a presentation so we get just a better understanding about that.
That's fine. Anything else?
Progress.
CFO's report?
The only item I'm adding to it, since the budget's been adopted and the engineer has an item listed that bids were received for, but the monies have not yet been appropriated because it was actually in this year's capital budget. Although it was an item that was previously listed last year, it didn't get fully funded until this year's capital budget. I want to know if the governing body is ready to move ahead on some of these other capital items as well, and I can have bond ordinances prepared in the future, if not all of them for the next meeting, at least in the next
Is there
two
any
meetings.
any
okay?
objection to this? Okay. Anything else, Wayne? No?
No, that's all I have.
Borough Engineers report, Jay Cornell.
Thank you, Mayor. First item is a 2015 roof replacement project, which is the Public Safety Complex, the Senior Center, Engine Company Number 1, and Morgan Firehouse. We received bids for that project. The money is in place. We're currently reviewing the references as a low bidder, so if everything's in order, I'd like to have a resolution awarding that contract at the next meeting.
Any objection? Next item.
And second item, Mayor, is the major drive of bulkhead improvements that Wayne referred to. We received bids for that project, so we would wait for the ordinance to be introduced and adopted, then we can award that contract.
Okay.
That would be it. Thank you.
Thank you. Borough Attorney's report?
Nothing further, Mayor.
Okay, I'm going to go to the public portion for any and all comments and questions. Are there any comments and questions for the borough, for the open public portion section? Miss, did you want to come up? The young soccer player's mother. No? Okay. Bear, Good to see you here, buddy. You sitting tonight or are you talking tonight? Well, it's time to talk, Bear. Come on up.
Hello, I'm Robert Kaminkowitz, known as the Bear. I'm living in a borough here for 53 years now. I was very impressed today when I came down Main Street and seen the beautiful trees in bloom. The white ones, I don't know what they are.
Flowering pears.
They're really nice. Makes the town look really nice. All right, now, I want to give the police department credit. I have a dog, a German Shepherd dog, an Alaskan dog, right? And I have her in a kennel at home. And every once in a while, if I don't lock the gate, right, she's smart enough to open it and get out. And I panic right away. When that dog gets out, I panic. And I call the police station up and tell them about the dog, because the dog has a license on it and everything else, right? And they've been very cooperative. They go out and if they're not busy. One night, there was 5 of them out there looking for the dog. And it made me feel good. And they found the dog, and they brought the dog home, you know. When I was a kid, we used to have a dog catcher in South Amboy. Dogs used to run all around wild, you know, and they were nice dogs, right? And then they had the dog catcher come in. And the dog catcher would run these dogs down. They were fast guys, right, with big nets. They would put them in a pickup truck with a top and a bottom on it, right? And they'd go get another dog. But they were too dumb to put a lock on it. So every time the dog catcher come, us kids, we opened up the dog truck there, right? And the dog would run out like crazy, and they'd curse like hell, you know. I get paid $4 for that dog. I want to thank...
We're looking to bring that fee back, Bear.
What fee?
That fee structure. You get $4 a dog.
Be nice if that's all.
That's what it cost you when they picked up they got $4, you know. And they were around, and everybody'd say, the dog catcher was in town, everybody got their dog in the house, you know, but some got caught. I want to impress how the city clerk's office works. They're very congenial up there. Any questions I have, they take care of it, and I think you got good workers there. And you have excellent workers, too, in the tax department and water department.
Thank you, Bear.
You think you give these people happy pills, you know? They're really nice all the time. Another thing I would like to ask Jay. Jay, is that a rumor about them painting the bridge the wrong color?
I have not heard that, so I'm not aware.
I've heard that. That's the wrong color. It's blue. It looks good, right? But there's graffiti up on the bridge already. They had to hang over the top or some damn thing, but it's there.
I don't know whether we can send our machine, because that's railroad property, but we'll ask the business administrator to
Very dangerous up
look
there,
into
though.
it.
I don't know how they hung over. Now the recreation. You're telling me that they're tight on money here in the town, which we are, everybody is, right? I think they should eliminate that night at the movies. That's like $1,000 a shot. People have movies at home, they can watch everything, and it costs you over $1,000 to get that night at the movies.
But I think it's pretty, I don't know what the cost is, Bear, but I think the attendance is pretty high. Ricky, you would know better what the attendance is.
It's high.
Yeah.
Well, I went down and saw hot dogs one night, right? When they first had it, second time, I sold 12 hot dogs.
Yeah.
Waste of time. I just wasted my time.
Wasn't a first-run movie, I take it, Bear.
I don't know what the hell kind of movie it was. Now, and I think you should look into that. How
Well,
much it costs.
did you have to take out a permit to go down that night, or do you have does your general permit cover it?
My permit covers everything.
Okay, so
Nobody
I
knows.
appreciate you doing it, I really do. And had you paid extra to do it, we'd have another conversation. Because you're not doing it to incur a loss. You were there to provide a service, and as such, you should have been.
Right, just like I go
Right.
down Arlette School and give the hot dogs out.
I know, Barry, your
I give-
community service is well known.
And also, that cancer fund that they have with the car show, I do that, right? And that's another thing, you know, I'm totally against this. When I first started, I'm the only one left that goes to the 4th of July and the Community Day. I was the first. Everybody gave it a shot, nobody made it and everything. Now we have all out-of-towners there. And The deal was, when I first made it, I was the only one to sell hot dogs, exclusively, at both places. Now, last year, I think it was, the sausage man, right? He's making sausage like crazy. He's making a lot of money. You know, $2 hot dog compared to $7 sausage. So for a couple of years, he didn't have it. And he's directly across the street from me selling hot dogs. He added that to his menu. And I don't think that's right.
Don't the food vendors have a meeting before both events to discuss these things?
Right.
Were they discussed and agreed upon?
I've been hollering about it since, it happened.
Ricky, would you take a look at this, please?
They
I beg
should-
your pardon? There's not exclusivity, but you
exclusivity.
can't sell, you can't compete. It was supposed to be set up, so you had one guy doing whatever his
Correct,
food
correct.
specialty was. You didn't want 6 cotton candy guys there.
Right. So they should pass an ordinance for the bear that he sells hot dogs there exclusively.
Well, we were going to
This is
call
the
it
way
Bear Day, but we thought it would be,
This is
there
the
was
way
a
I
chance
feel.
it wouldn't be misinterpreted.
You know, I've been there a long time with it. Now, the big one, Fort Grumpy. Elisa, I called Elisa. Is that who runs it?
Elise Barone.
Elise, very nice lady.
Lovely.
She thanked me for calling her because I did a character reference on her.
Yeah.
And everybody said she's a nice lady.
She's very nice, very competent.
They had dumpsters up there
Yeah,
filled to the ceiling.
yeah,
You couldn't throw another bag in there, another can.
yeah.
And naturally, you just dump them on the ground, because we're big recyclable people. My wife won't throw a medicine thing away. She gets her pills and she recycles.
Dan has some information
Mayor,
for you on that.
The reason, Elise, really appreciate your call is that we have been in a contract with the contractor to remove those dumpsters. They were supposed to remove them 2 to 3 times a week,
Right.
depending on them overflowing. So what you did is that you actually gave her an impetus to go down and record everything.
She
meaning
told me
right,
she was gonna check it out.
Which helps us, which possibly may help us break the contract.
Yeah.
Okay? Because it's not our people. We actually had our people come down there, and I think it was after your call. I think it was you called on a Thursday, maybe it was. But on Friday, they came down, and they actually cleaned up everything that the contractor did not pick up. So
Yeah, he don't pick it up. He just hooks up
they just
and
so
goes,
we're-
right?
So we're doing the best we can to keep it clean, neat, and not so as you as a resident could just come there and drop off your things properly and then leave.
I
So-
do.
And I know you do, but we appreciate the phone call. It's just helping us. We're trying, the contract, I think, runs out in another 3 months.
You know why I like going down there? I get away from Dolores for about a half hour, an hour. She said, Bear, where you going? I said, I'm going to get recyclables.
Well, it's not Bellows anymore.
Huh?
It's not Bellows anymore.
Bellows what?
Never mind.
So now, did they save us any money? Did they pick it up for free?
No, we actually get some money for that, yes.
They give you money?
Yes.
So what would happen if you boot them out?
We'd find somebody else who
Find
would
somebody
give
else,
us
but it's hard to,
money.
you have to break it, they're still under contract, Bear, and they're not performing. So we're working with the attorney to see what we can do to make sure they do perform.
I'm glad to hear that.
Okay?
And
thank
one
you.
more thing. Sarah, who was appointed that? Is that at a point you get appointed that?
Beg your pardon? Dan?
Sarah.
Sarah,
Sarah.
the redevelopment agency.
Right.
Right.
Now, how do you get on that? I don't want to get on it.
You know, I question that myself, Bear.
All these years, you've been mayor.
Right.
Does the council vote on it? Who goes on it?
Well, John Wisniewski passed a piece of legislation which would forever prohibit the mayor of Sayreville from serving on the redevelopment agency because it only allows 2 borough employees, and because the 2 council people are appointed, they are qualified as borough employees. So the mayor will never be allowed to serve on Sarah
Well, I don't
because
think
of the assemblyman.
That's not true.
It's
You
very
could-
true. It's
you could be
1,000%
appointed as-
true.
You could be appointed
No, you
as
better
well.
read the ordinance, Mary.
I did read the
Uh-huh.
ordinance.
Reread
And after
it.
that was passed, you were on there for a long time, Kevin.
No.
No, he was
No.
never on there.
No.
Yes, he
No.
was.
No.
I don't remember.
No. Not at all. So thank you, Assemblyman Wisniewski.
Well, I think that the council should vote on it.
It was
then you should be on it.
Bear,
There's no question
Bear,
about
The Assemblyman did it in Trenton. It required legislation.
Because you...
It's not at the council level, it's at the assembly level.
Well,
It's my understanding that we could appoint Kennedy
Nope.
O'Brien and one council person.
No,
There's-
because it
'cause
says two council people must be appointed.
Two elected officials, I believe, is
No,
the word that's used.
better read it, Mary.
Okay, I will, Kenny.
what do you say, Mary? He should be on there?
I
No, that's not what
I
she
thought it
said.
said elected officials.
She backed
No, I'm
herself
just
in the
saying
corner.
he could be appointed. That was my understanding
No,
that he could be appointed.
no,
Well, I think he should.
no.
You know, when he come in, he didn't have gray hair. I believe, what, 16 years you've been on?
16 years, Bear.
And your hair's all gray now.
Well,
You're going to be an old man
but
like me.
it's still there, Bear.
Yeah,
still
I'm
there.
bald. I want to thank you all for your time.
Thank you, Bear.
I don't come down here just to talk like some other people. I usually come down here when there's a little problem or I feel like I come down here. Thank you.
Look, you're looking better. Like your health is coming
I
back to you.
feel
I'm very
good.
happy about
I
that.
feel very good. I'm going to paint my house next week. And my wife said, you can't go up
Are you
on
getting on a ladder?
Yeah.
No, don't do that.
Yeah.
Oh, don't do that.
All the times I fell, one more than it hurt. I fell out of a tree one
I
time.
know.
One time I was up in a tree, they had to send a big hook and ladder out to get me out of the tree.
Yes.
But I'm not afraid of height. Thank you.
Bear, thank you very much. Don't change. Are there any other questions or comments for the open public portion? Being no other questions or comments, I'll entertain a motion to close the public portion.
Move to close the public portion.
All in favor? Opposed? With that, we're going to go into executive session. Is there any action that's going to be taken when we come out of executive session?
No. No.
Counselor?
Yeah, now therefore be it resolved by the mayor and the borough council, the public portion of this meeting is hereby adjourned in order that the governing body may meet in closed private session for approximately 10 minutes to discuss litigation, personnel, contract negotiations. Following the conclusion of said closed session, the governing body shall reconvene the open portion of this public meeting to consider any other matters which may be properly brought before it at this time. The nature and content of the discussion which occurs in closed session shall be made public at such time as the need for non-disclosure no longer exists. This resolution shall take effect immediately.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
All in favor? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Did we
I
have
think
a
Ricky seconded it.
I did.
Since there's no action, when we come out of closed session, we'll make a motion for adjournment for, if that young fella has homework or something, and you want to go home. It would be,
This,
I'm,
we're going to take care
you're the man, you're the man. There, that's a good young man in front of you. Joe, come on.
Have a good evening, everybody.
Okay, Joe, thank you, take home.
Hey, Kev,
I didn't want to
how's
say how
Joe's
that
dad
worked.
doing?
I just looked at Jim.
So maybe we'll get the information and maybe at the next meeting? Okay.
That's pretty good, Dave.
Actually, really myself and him.
You guys see how that works?
Yeah, I would. It's illegal these days. Hey, I know guys are retired and your wives never knew it.
Take a motion to go into open?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion for adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, everyone.
Michael, 2 seconds.
The wife is getting rid of her cane slowly.